Manchester United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, in a game where, in truth, Manchester United were outclassed, battered, dominated at Old Trafford, and Man United were exceedingly lucky to not concede a penalty, in my opinion, in the dying moments of those games. Onana, who had a good game up until that point, misjudged the cross and clattered into a Wolverhampton Wanderers defender. I do not understand the decision. As a Man United fan, I'm happy that we got the win, but I have to ask the question, because I would ask it in the other direction. Were Wolves robbed? Should this have been a penalty in the 95th minute for Wolverhampton Wanderers? I want to get your opinions on this. I want to get your views on this. Man United fans as well. Obviously, we want to talk about the performance tonight that was terrible from Manchester United. Really and truly, I can't think of an individual, barring Sancho, really, when he came on, who I thought looked productive. You can give a bit of praise to AWB and Bruno and Varane for their involvement in the all-important goal for Man United tonight. But overall, a shockingly poor performance. Man United have taken the real buzz, in my opinion, off of the start of this campaign. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. We were hoping for a solid performance. We were hoping to make a little bit of a statement, and there was no chemistry. There was no intensity. Zero togetherness at all from this Manchester United team tonight. Zero togetherness at all from this Manchester United team. The passing was poor. The first touches were off. I criticized Liverpool the other night yesterday, for the amount of opportunities they leaked on goal. The one thing I'm not is a hypocrite. Man United have got no business thinking of closing the gap on City and Arsenal. In fact, we have no business of considering ourselves top 4 or Champions League position contenders if we leak that abundance of chances at home in the Premier League. 18, 19 attempts on goal, I believe we conceded in that game. 18. Horrendous. 6 of which were on target, by the way. 6 of which were blocked. 12 over on target or blocked from going in. Horrendous. That midfield got ran through like diarrhea. It was a diarrhea midfield performance tonight. And you can pick out individual moments that you were happy with. Listen, we pressed the ball well. We actually won, I think, 10 or 11 turnovers of possession in their third of the pitch, and we failed to capitalize. Maybe if we capitalized earlier in the game, their heart would have been taken, would have dominated the game a little bit more. But the longer that game went on, the more dangerous Wolves got. Cunha run the show. I've actually never seen Semedo play that well. I've never seen Semedo have that good a football match in my life. And he pocketed Garnacho. He pocketed Rashford when he went out wide. He stopped anybody from getting past him, and he was so dangerous on the attack. Neto gave Anthony a lesson on what to do at Old Trafford. It was just so, compare Wolves to us. There will be teams that play worse than Wolves this season, much worse than Wolves this season against Man United, and win. I actually feel sorry for them. They were so good indeed, and they deserved it. I think they came into this game, Wolves, everybody was writing them off. Everybody said that they were going to get battered. It's almost like they came into the game with the mindset of everybody's written us off, we can relax. Man United came to the pressure. The relationships aren't quite right. And we didn't fight hard enough again. And I care about fight. I care about concentration. I care about the mentality of the game. We were off. We weren't ready. We were absolutely horrendous tonight. Horrendous. And I'm happy that we've won, but I feel we're very fortuitous. 110% should have conceded a penalty at the end of the game. I know they're increasing the threshold. And look, there was a goalkeeper a goalie over the weekend clattered somebody late. And I don't remember what game it was in now because I watched so many over the weekend. And the ball had already gone out. therefore the foul wasn't given. It could have been in the Brentford Spurs game. And that was different tonight. But I think Wolves were robbed. I would be claiming we were robbed and cheated if that was the case. So I'm not really joyful after our opening game of the season. I'm going to criticize Man United a lot harder this year because the standards have to be raised. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of harsh words from the manager. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of criticism of this team over the next few days in terms of when they go through the video footage, when they're back in training. And there absolutely should be, because it was horrendous. And as I've said before, I'm not going to behave like fans of other clubs and continually play down bad performances just because we're at the beginning of the year 2 of the rebuild. I expect after a full preseason, 2 new signings that the manager wanted through the door, almost our strongest possible 11 picked. I do not expect... Look, Wolves have been difficult for Man United for a long time now. They've been a bogey team for us, a hard team for us to beat for 4 or 5 years. I'll accept that. However, I do not expect for them to have... They didn't have more than the ball than us, only marginally. We only had 52%. I do not expect to have a team like Wolves create more big opportunities at Old Trafford than us. It is unforgivable. Unforgivable. It really is. And we didn't even have to worry tonight about being pressed. They didn't want to press Onana. They sat back. And we were so sloppy in possession, it was ridiculous. We actually got what Man United normally cry out for. Teams leaving us alone with the ball in our own half and actually letting us almost walk it into the middle of the pitch. That's normally when Man United are at the most comfortable. There was something lackluster, off-key about us tonight, and we got very, very, very lucky indeed tonight. And I don't even know who the standout performance would be. I thought Casemiro played it well tonight for large parts. Sancho, as I mentioned, came on and was probably the best player on the pitch over the 90 minutes. Bruno, I'll praise for the pass, and Wan-Bissaka for helping with the goal with Varane. But outside of that, I can't really name anybody as a really good performer tonight. And I might be missing someone, might be somebody you all think deserves a shout out, but I can't. Legitimately can't. They all embarrassed me tonight. They embarrassed me. We were absolutely horrendous. I'm going to go to your super chats before bringing out our panel tonight. Sean here says, if I'm a Wolves fan, I am punching holes in the wall. That's a robbery. Onana has cleared the bloke out. That's shocking. Yeah, it's a penalty, in my opinion. A shocking performance. Wolves should have won. The only positive is I don't think United will have a worse performance this season. Yeah, look, I'm not writing off our entire season because of tonight. I'm criticizing the individual performance. Saw us play better in preseason. Isn't it funny how we won? But you can have some really good preseason performances, and then you drop that at the beginning of the season. It's crazy. Give me Man United now so I can eat them up. A City fan. Yeah, we might improve. Poch in 3 months is better. Mount is a clown. Wolves. Listen, again, let's see if Chelsea get third this season and win a trophy. But I think maybe people are going a bit too far. I'm criticizing tonight, though. Thank you, Pav, for re-signing up as a member, bro. Hope you're feeling better these days. United fans took the piss out of Arsenal complaining about Martinez and his tactics. Look how he had to be taken off for being overzealous in tackles. So I don't think he was taken off for being overzealous in tackles. He was taken off because he was running the risk of being sent off. I want him to play like that. I actually didn't think he needed to be taken off, but maybe there's another reason we'll get told about. I thought that was a poor decision from the manager because he isn't going to get himself sent off. He knows what to do. Oh my God, I've never been this angry and I don't support any Premier League team. Wolves didn't deserve a draw, but a comfortable win. Shocking penalty decision. If this is Man United, all about them, absolute crap. I will say this. They played well enough to win. However, Man United are not at fault for them missing their chances. That's what I would say. If they got the penalty, they'd have got a draw. So they played well enough to win comfortably, but they've got to finish their dinner. They finished. Listen, a lot of people predicted Wolves to go down. If they can perform like that, they're going to stay up, you know. But I get why you'd be angry. Clear penalty. Cunha cooked you, man. He did. He sliced, diced, seasoned, cooked, ate, and shat us out. Well, maybe not. He didn't quite. Maybe he got a bit of indigestion when he missed those chances. But you know what I'm saying? Man United looked worse than Liverpool, in my opinion. Yeah, we did. You're absolutely spot on. Great Wolves performance. United looked tired. We did. It's stupid. First game of the season, we shouldn't. But yeah, we were poor tonight. I've never seen a player get 0 across the board in stats like Mount just did. Scamming should not be this easy. Yeah, we had an anonymous performance tonight, Mount. Really poor. United can forget top 4, worst top 6 performance by far. So you're already saying that's it for Man United. They won't improve from this point. That is interesting. Thank you, Jules, for re-signing as a member. Plus side, Chelsea will waste 100 million on Cunha now. Bit of salt, bit of Chelsea salt on the stream there. Terry, do United scare you now? No, not yet. Usna United, Terry, hope you enjoy your rejects. That's obviously from DR, who is a Chelsea fan. Mark Neighbour says, sorry, Terry, but this is the same coach who was in charge of Ajax, one of the most beautiful footballing teams. In over a year, I am yet to see Ten Hag's team dominate a game with the ball or quality. Yeah, listen, I understand where you're coming from. We certainly have done that in games. I don't know if you've watched every single, as a non-Man United fan, I doubt you watched all 60-odd games we played last season, but we need to become better at it, and today is inexcusable. There isn't a player in that Wolves team. You could argue Neto would get in the team, but we probably wouldn't want to buy anybody in that Wolves team. Even like Mateus in the middle, good, but would you want better than him? Probably. It's just shocking. These players and pressure, that could be our Achilles heel, maybe. I'll say this now. Casemiro is on the edge of a cliff and is about to have a mad fall off. Our season is over if we don't sign a DM. Wow. Casemiro written off already. So I didn't think he was a problem today. I thought Bruno and Mount were poor in possession, so were our attackers. So when we put players forward to attack and then lost the ball, we got caught in the transition because we were really sloppy in possession. That's where I thought the problems were personally, rather than Casemiro playing bad, but maybe I saw it differently. Bad performance, no pen. Onana, no impact, no chance. Well, but Onana did have an impact. We weren't being pressed at the back. So we had possession. It was our job to then break them down, and we were sloppy in possession. The Onana effect happened tonight. We didn't get pressed, and everyone presses Man United. They didn't really do it. Not in our own half, I'm talking. We were poor. 3 points, yes, but we were awful. It's a penalty. I completely agree with you. 100% a pen. Ganso here says, striker doesn't fix this team. Attack is dysfunctional. Amrabat and Pavard are not the answer. We need better quality in the 11, not competition. Mount is not it. Incorrect profile, saying it now. Mount written off now. Højlund written off now. Amrabat and Pavard written off now. Do you agree with this super chat, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know in the comment section right now. Wolves were more fluid than Man United, but no finishers. Agree. They looked a lot better than Man United tonight. Onana was a little erratic. Wolves deserved. Look, I thought Onana was great up until that last little moment, and I just thought, why is he be the one? If everyone to give a penalty away, please don't be him. But I thought he was good up until then. You know, made a few saves, caught the ball from crosses. He even didn't take silly risks when he was being charged down with the ball. But yeah, that moment was poor. This is Eric Ten Hag ball, and he'll be happy with the win. Wolves have themselves to blame. They had enough chances to score. Should have won with 3 goals. I agree with the last part. I don't think the manager will be happy. Old Trafford is the only reason it wasn't a penalty. Could have been. Although the people that made the decision not to review it are not in Old Trafford, so they're not feeling that pressure. That was a shocking 90 minutes. The attitude from the players stank. I want to be happy for the win, but I'm honestly worried. Yeah, I'm the same, bro. I'm legitimately worried. I've actually never had this many rivals watch a Man United win before either. That's how I know we were bad. That's how I know we're stanking up the place with morning breath. First, not only did we not deserve 3 points, not even one 11 individual on the pitch. Slow, lethargic. How the hell Onana got away with that? And Terry told you about the decision-making in the final third. It wasn't even decision-making, in my opinion. We tried to often play the right balls. The execution tonight, it was, honestly, I've watched old age pensioners play walk-in football and have more dynamism, more cutting edge, more belief than these guys tonight. They were shocking. Pav here with a member chat says, sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Says, out of all the teams who won this weekend, we played the worst and came out with a result. Absolute embarrassing performance. You're absolutely spot on. Can we demand a style of play from Ten Hag? Disgrace? Of course we can. I'm going to keep the same energy and say there's no easy games in the Premier League, but it's hard to defend that performance from an Arsenal fan. There is no defending the performance. There is no defending that performance. You can praise Wolves, and I want to praise Wolves. They were very good, but we didn't react to it. And again, they had more quality on the ball, but there was more in their heads and more belief in and conviction in their actions. And it goes a long way in sport. When will Ten Hag be held accountable for performances like this? He's being held accountable right now on this stream. Can you not hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? To quote Chris Rock. Lee said, if Xavi doesn't win the trophy, he gets sacked. The same goes for Ten Hag. Potentially, Debbie. Potentially. This team sucks. Going to be a long season. Need a ball carrier. I won't have a super high expectations this season. We will probably get top 4. That's from Sonic. Ibi here says, tuned into the second half and I thought I was watching 2011 Barcelona, the way Wolves bossed your midfield. They need a finisher, not confident in the final third. Yeah, I mean, the fact they pay 44 million, Cunha, good at everything barring finishing, it's crazy. I see the same fall of Cass like Matic had. Again, I want to speak to the panel about this. I'm going to leave that 1 star because I don't think he was a problem today. Mount and Bruno left gaps. That is what I felt. Because we were sloppy in possession. So when you attack in numbers and you give the ball away, you leave room in behind. That's where I thought we were poor. United will come good. Need Rash on the left. Absolutely. And striker up top. We've got that coming in. Josh here, one of our members, 41 months as a member. Look at that. Love it. Thank you. He says, Wolves definitely deserved a win as they dominated the entire game. We got lucky for finishing our chance. But let's not overreact. We are rusty. Erik ten Hag will give them the hairdryer treatment. I agree with you completely on that, my friend. I think you are spot on. I feel we struggle in our away games when we face Newcastle and the rest of the pack. We certainly could if we don't improve from that, my friend. I think you're spot on. Lee here celebrating 11 months as a member. Thank you very much, bro. G here says, I'm not writing off Højlund because I really rate him. I just don't see how he is going to transform our attack. Well, I look at it this way. The ball will stick to him or he can hold it up. Again, Rashford's not a number 9. I think he can play there at times, but it's not his position. You need someone who can hold that ball up, make it stick and bring others into play. It will help the team improve. But we need to just be better in possession. There were so many times now we had the ball in the right areas, the right pass, or the right bit of movement, and we went on goal. It was so poorly executed. 11 times we won the ball within 25 yards of the goal, and not once did we create a goal-scoring opportunity. That was the horrendous part for me. George here says, we're all going to get this type of game where our team perform poorly, but as long as you get away with the 3 points, that's all that matters. You've got 2 more games to improve. Otherwise, you're getting spanked at the Emirates. Listen, I think if we played well 4 or 5 games and then had a performance like this, you're more relaxed. But I think fans want to see something first day of the season. But you are right. If we improve and beat Tottenham at the weekend, this performance will probably be forgotten about. But we're going to demand better. We have to as Man United fans. Poch got us dominating Liverpool after 2 months and top 4 challengers. Man United have 0 patterns of in attack over a year. But this is the thing. Let us not pretend that we didn't dominate teams last year, especially at home, and good teams as well. Let's not act like we didn't do that last year. Let's not act like we didn't have patterns of play last year. We didn't tonight, but it doesn't undo the work that's been done prior, in my opinion. Mount actually had a disaster class Warrior player. Yeah, he did. AMT here celebrating 25 months as a member. If this Man United wins a serious trophy, I'll be impressed. So will I, based on tonight's performance. I don't trust Ten Hag, but it's game 1 deserves a chance. I hear you. How are United getting written off already? Calm down. I agree with that point as well. The thing with Rashford is you never know which version you're going to get. Still a long season, and we will see how things improve. Yeah, look, I hear you on that. He didn't have the greatest of games, but he's a left-sided attacker, and that is where I want to see him. And I think it's one of the reasons why Saka's become so great. Plays on that right, plays on that right, plays on that right. I just want us to get to a point with our squad where Rashford's on the left, where Højlund or the other number 9, whoever we have, is playing as the number 9. The guys that play on the right are playing on the right. So some play. I like a little bit of rotation in games, but you want someone to master a position. The amount of, if you even think about Martial, Rashford, Sancho in the 2 years he's been here, look how many positions they play before mastering one. It needs to improve. The issue with Kaz is he was getting bullied in the one-on-ones and was looking so lethargic. I hope it's just a lack of fitness, but it's looking fraudulent. Interesting take. Look, I'm going to bring my panel out now to have their say on the show. Make sure like buttons are being hit. That's for me and the terrorists, not so much the result or the talking points, as it were. Make sure that's it. We're bringing out KJ, Dizzy, Staffy, Cameron, and making her debut tonight on the channel is Hannah Nichols, who will be on with us as well tonight. Panel time now, people, to get their views and opinions on the game. Let's do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show. I appreciate you all being here. I want to go to KJ first. We win, but it was a terrible performance against Wolves tonight.
Yeah, not good, man. Not good. Not the best way to start the season. We expected more. We was hoping for more, and they didn't perform. The team's not gelling. The balance is still off, in my opinion, especially in that midfield and in the attack. We haven't found that solution yet, and I hope Ten Hag finds a solution. He needs to find a solution to make us cohesive. The comment about Casemiro, I agree with him. For me, he looked lethargic and he looked slow. Like, he looked very slow today, and you saw it a couple of times on some of the tackles. When he was even attacking, there was a through ball that's played into him and he just couldn't get there. And maybe that season he was on adrenaline, and this season age is like, nah, come back here. I'm going to show you where we're at. So we're hoping that's just one of those rusty games for an older player, and they just get back into the groove of things. But he was looking slow today. The attack very lethargic. Only Sancho should have started. Garnacho is not a starter right now. He is an impact sub until further notice, and that's because he's not because he's not good. He's just young. He needs these moments to learn from, but you don't throw him in every single week. Like, let him be an impact substitute, and I personally think Sancho is our sharpish looking attacker. He looks the sharpest out of everyone, so he should be playing right now. And then on the final thing, that is not a pen. You think it's a pen? It's not a pen.
Chance.
The ball, they both mistimed the flight of the ball because the ball ended up behind them, and Dawson was the one who headed it. And then when it was headed, it went into the penalty box. So even if Onana clattered him at the wrong time, the ball wasn't getting received to him anyway. Both of them just mistimed the flight of the ball, clattered into each other. It's not a pen, in my opinion. It's not a pen. And the pen that the one that the handball thing that happened to us, that's not a pen either. So no teams got pens, and rightly so, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. You agree with that, Cam, that it wasn't a penalty?
It wasn't a pen. I mean, listen, I know what he was doing there. He was going to clatter the guy, but the keepers are allowed to do that. At the end of the day, we've watched David De Gea get emasculated in those moments, and Onana was just like, I'm not going to let that happen. He's like, I'm not putting it up for chance. I'm just going to clear out whoever's in the space. He put his hands up. He went for the ball. He had his eyes on the thing. Is it was important, and I watched it back. He had his eyes on the ball. He kept his eyes on the ball. So at the end of the day, he's going for the ball. You've got to allow keepers to clear their space in that sense. They both mistimed their jumps. You know how I feel about a lot of penalty calls, and I think for sure that one for me wasn't. It was just a keeper being strong in his space, something we've been crying out for. So he did it. I'm happy he did it. It's like, I agree with you. I was worried because if it was him that gave away a pen, we already know what's going to happen. I'm going to give my quick 2 cents on the game right now. Don't worry, Staffy. There's no positivity coming for the first time. First time. I had nothing to be positive about.
Listen, I'm just going to let you guys say everything you want, because everything that's going to be called out today, I called it out in preseason and he called me negative. So I'm going to cook it. You guys go. Here's
the deal. I'm not going to get on Mount because I've been saying from the start, I'm not going to get on Mount until I see the full team with him in it, because I can't imagine that Erik ten Hag's vision for Mount was with this team. The way we're structured right now, it doesn't make any sense. Personally, in my opinion, so I won't get on him, but I did think Cass looked slow. There was one moment where I was like, oh man, he doesn't have legs right now. And maybe he's one of those guys who needs to play into shape. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, even though he provided the assist, I think every time we go down that right-hand side, you have Anthony, who has a lot of dribbles. He's nice on the ball or whatnot, and then has no end product. And even when he's looking around for help, he can't get it. Like, he looks for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and then Aaron gets it. And what's he do? He like passes it backwards. So there's nothing happens on that right-hand side. Basically, you dribble down the right-hand side, and you can just expect the ball to get kicked around, bobbled, and nothing happens. So that's just a standard thing for us now. Rashford through the middle it's killing me now, because we saw him on the left for, I think it was one possession on the left, and it was just like, oh yeah, that's who he is. That's what that looked nice. He put in a nice cross. Of course, there was no striker to get there, but he took his man on. Dude was on his skates. You could tell the fear. There's a different fear factor when Rashford is on the left staring down a defender than when he's trying to get the ball through the middle. It makes no sense anymore. I know we're going to keep trying it until we figure it out, but we got to just, in my opinion, you did the Sancho thing for a reason. So I get why he gave Garnacho a shot. I understand. He looked menacing in that last game. He was unbelievable. But truthfully, we just got to go with Sancho, because somebody's got to get the ball to stick, because nobody in our team, not midfield, not defenders, nobody could control the ball today. And it was kind of embarrassing, honestly. Like, the fact that Wolves basically put us to the sword, they just couldn't score. If we're gonna be honest, like that's kind of painful. I mean, we can say new manager bounce, but a team with that much going on, there's no excuse. Like, we looked poor. So something's got to change. Again, I will not come down on Mount until I see him in the right team, because I do think there's something that we're planning for him, and it's not that. So.
I hear you on that. I'm going to go to the boys in a minute. We've got a lot of super chats coming in, but I want to welcome the audience and the rest of the panel to Hannah, who's a United fan from Manchester, who's joining us on Match Reactions this year. Obviously, not the kind of performance that you were obviously hoping for as a United fan, but what did you make of it, and where do you see the improvements needed moving forward?
Quite frankly, I thought it was shocking. I think everyone knows that. It was really disappointing tonight as a fan to watch that, because we weren't incredible in pre-season, but obviously with our new signings, there was definitely some promise. So at home, I can't lie, I expected more. I think everyone did. I was saying, I think it's going to be 3-0. So there's just no one there. The problem is, when Rashford's in the middle, he just doesn't exist. And we can't really, I think for a lot of this, the midfield will get blamed. I mean, the midfield was shocking. On Casemiro, I think him and Mount are actually quite good out of possession. They're busy, they're working, but with the ball, they're shocking. And I think tonight really, really highlights, if anything, if I was Erik ten Hag or whoever deals with it, I'd be on the phone tomorrow to sign Amrabat. We need him desperately. We need someone to back up Casemiro, because it's just not enough having the midfield that we've got at the moment. And like you said, Terry, we completely got ran through. And I personally think we got lucky. As a Man United fan, I'm going to say we got very lucky, to be honest. That Varane goal, amazing. I mean, it was a big relief, but we didn't deserve it. I think it was a penalty. I think it definitely was. And again, like Terry said at the start, I thought Onana was our best player today, by far. I thought he was really, really good. It was a great debut for him in the Premier League, and it looks really promising to have him instead of De Gea. I mean, he's so confident on the ball. And like you said, it would have been really terrible if that was a penalty in that aspect, if it was him. But I do think we did get lucky, and I do think that should have been a penalty. I would understand Wolves fans being annoyed by that, but at the end of the day, it's 3 points. Rival fans aren't going to be happy, but they're never happy. We love to be criticised. Everyone is always watching Man United and so quick to criticise them. So I think as a fan, it's incredibly disappointing, that performance, and it has to get better. I mean, we're going to Spurs next week, and they look quite good on Sunday, so it has to get better. But like I say, I'm not going to write anyone off yet. I think it's too soon. But hopefully hair dry treatment does come their way.
Yeah, I listen. I think a lot of people would agree with what you had to say there, and I think Amrabat. Look, there's a lot of people saying I think Jamie Carragher has just said on Sky Sports that he thinks Casemiro could be exposed this season. I hope that Casemiro now has the same response that Lissandro did last year when Jamie Carragher wrote off our players right at the start of the season. But this maybe is why the manager is looking at Amrabat, because Amrabat's got energy for days, can carry the ball. And I think that's what actually let us down the midfield a little bit today. Poor in possession, and then just this midfield of Wolves had so much energy. It was ridiculous, and they hurt us today in there.
Yeah, if we had a Mateus Nunes who can, the way he can drive from the midfield from deep, all the way from their edge of their box to edge of our box, we would be cooking, man. Like the way that he does that, I'm surprised that not many teams have looked at him and been like, "Yo, Wolves are in a state right now. We need midfielders. We should pick him up because he's got physicality, he's got tenacity, and the way that his ball carrying ability is top notch." So yeah, we need a player like that. That Gomez brother today, I don't know where they picked him up from. Yeah, I think he's Brazilian. I think I've seen him on Football Manager one time, but he was everywhere today. And again, we need that speed and that tenacity in the midfield, and that's why Amrabat is needed, like Hannah said. But also, we've been linked to someone like Onana. I can understand why Ten Hag might want someone of that profile who can be in that midfield and give us that steal that we need. Because even when Eriksen came on, great on the ball, but he was getting barged off. He was getting.
But Onana can't control the ball, man.
I don't know. I said the profile. I don't know if he's the best technically, but right now we've got really good technical players in terms of like Mason Mount at times. You've got Eriksen, but they're just weak, and we need a bit more strength. So. You know, like I can understand why.
No, I totally get where you're coming from. Look, I'm gonna go to more of you guys in a minute on the panel, but we have 25 super chats waiting. The viewers are being very generous tonight, so obviously want to make sure I respect them. This here says, Terry Hoyland's main weaknesses are his hold-up play and passing. See, I disagree. From what I've watched of him, what I read about him, that's an area that I've quite liked, but. Listen, I'll bow down to your superior knowledge here, my friend. Thank you very much for that member chat. 3 points, move on, talk when we lose, better next. Actually, I disagree with that. I think you can still criticize these things. I do think some people are going too far with writing up our entire season after one game. That's far too much for me. But I get where our rivals would. After match week 1, who should be more optimistic about the weekend? Spurs fans or United fans? I'm still confident Man United will finish in front of Spurs. So you take that as what you will. Member chat here from SP21 says, Terry, we were quite bad. Mount was awful. I really hope I see better versus Spurs. I hope the rivals completely write us off. Yeah, they'll write us off and then say we should be coming third as well. Liverpool versus Chelsea, mid-table battle. Thank you for that. Man United is dog food, Terry. We certainly were today, Abs. We certainly were today. I love how Man United fans are acting surprised when rivals literally call it out in pre-season against Dortmund and Madrid. The difference was, Blaze. Yeah, hang on though, Staffy. Hang on. Against those teams, we didn't get dominated. We gave away possession badly in a couple of areas and conceded, but we didn't get dominated in those games like we did today. Today was different. Today was a complete opposite image in terms of the run of flow in the game. Didn't happen in preseason. Yes, there was some lack of quality from certain people, but we didn't get dominated like this by anybody in preseason, as far as I remember. Maybe we did. I didn't watch the Wrexham game, but I hear where you're coming from there. Thank you, Blaze. I feel the team was nervous tonight. I agree, Ronnie. Chelsea fan here. It's not a pen accidental collision. So Richard Cox here agreeing with Cam and with KJ on that. Followed up by Levy out saying VAR was shocking tonight. Clear penalty for Wolves. KJ, if that happened anywhere else on the pitch, it would be a foul.
No, when two players accidentally misjudge a ball and hit each other, they don't give fouls for that. They just say play on.
I'll tell you what's interesting about it. I think it's a pen. But why isn't it a foul if I go to head the ball, KJ gets the head first, and then my head clashes into his and fractures his skull? Fouls are never given for that. So I'm not defending Onana. I'm just asking that question. I've always wondered why that's not a foul.
Because there's no malice, right? There's no intent. If you're both going to head the ball and you miss it, I think it's different with feet, right? Because with feet you can be in control. When you're heading, it's tough. That's just my reasoning behind it. But I hear what you're saying.
I hear you there. I'm going to come back to some more of these super chats in a minute. Staffy, though, talk to us. I can see you're bubbling. You're bubbling, Staffy.
He's happy. He's happy right now.
He's happy because he gets the sales right.
No, I don't think
look
so.
at
I'll give
these guys.
Staffy that. He's not that.
Look at
No,
these guys.
I wouldn't do you like that anymore, Staffy. I'm sorry.
Look at these guys. These are the same guys that call me negative for saying everything that I have seen before this game even happened. There's no difference. What I'm about to say is no different than the preseason games. I told you guys, the game being a preseason game or being an official game does not mean anything. Not because the game is official, all of a sudden this midfield is going to find chemistry and they're going to work together and they're going to pass the ball well. But the things that I called out, it was mainly the midfield. I can ignore all my agendas for now and just talk about this midfield. Everything that I've said after the Madrid game and the Dortmund game is the same thing. You can just replay that and put it for today's watch along, and I'll just dip and it will still make sense. Because I said Casemiro is left on an island alone. He's not a ball passing DM. He's not Rodri. He's not what's his name? Thomas Partey. He can't break the lines with his passing. He doesn't progress the ball well. He cannot be left alone. Prime Casemiro had Modric and Kroos holding his hand because his main attribute is destroying. He can destroy and he can pass within range. When you put him alone and he has to find Mount and he has to find Bruno, who are far from him, he doesn't do that well. I actually feel bad for him because the criticism I'm about to give him is not actually his fault. You're misusing him. You're asking a fish to climb a tree. If a fish can't climb a tree, it's not the fish's fault. It's my fault for giving it instructions that it can't do. If I asked the fish to swim, it would have been perfect. If I asked Casemiro to stay back and destroy, he'll be perfect. But who's holding his hand? No one. You know how many touches on the ball Mount had today? 30 touches. Our goalkeeper had 18 more touches than him, and he played 68 minutes of football. That just shows you how far the lines are between our midfielders. And then you have Bruno having to drop deep. Bruno dropping deep is so useless. Listen, we can sit here and talk about the pass that he did to Wan-Bissaka. That was a good pass. I celebrated that pass. I celebrated the Wan-Bissaka assist. I celebrated the goal. But it was that quick for me to switch off because I celebrated the goal and then I'm back to reality. The reality is this midfield is not going to work. And I don't care that's the first game because I said it also in preseason and everyone's like, oh, it's preseason. It does not matter what the type of game it is. It doesn't matter who we're facing. The personnel that we have in this midfield is not going to work. We are misprofiling some of these players. They're all collectively going to look horrible, but they're not actually that bad of players. Bruno can look better in a different midfield. Mount would look better in a different midfield, and Casemiro would look better in a different midfield. Casemiro is going to get found out this season, unfortunately, because he's being used wrong. The minute Eriksen stopped playing next to him and progressing the ball, because we all remember last season, Eriksen used to drop deeper, collect the ball, and move up the pitch with the ball, whether it's him and Casemiro. Casemiro didn't have to do it a lot. Casemiro gave up the ball today 17 times. 17 times he lost possession. You understand how big that stat is? If you look up the other DMs from other top 6 players, I promise you, they're not giving up the ball 17 times, especially with the type of passing that he's making. The only player that gave up the ball more than him was Matheus Nunes from Wolves, and that guy's an attacking midfielder. So it's actually understandable why he loses the ball more. So this midfield is not going to work. The type of game, it's not going to, it doesn't even matter what type of game that we're going to be playing, because whether it's Champions League, Premier League, friendly games, they could be playing against me, KJ, and Cam in 5-a-side. This team is not functioned right. We have good individuals, but together they don't make sense.
You've never seen
Mount can't be that high up the pitch. And don't even get me started on Garnacho, because when I say this guy's not ready to play 90 minutes, people think, oh, I'm just hating on him, this and that. I keep talking about Sancho, and Terry himself called me a Sancho fanboy here so many times just because I am naming our best link-up player up front. No one links up the front line better than him. The minute he came on, him and Eriksen, we stopped rushing the ball. We stopped whipping in the ball every time like Bruno did. We actually took time on our decisions. They didn't directly get involved in the goal, but they changed the game for us. Because when did we score after they came on? Within like the first, 10, 15 minutes? So that's the impact that we had. We can have a combination of players that are good on the ball and players that are good off the ball, but we can't have all the players at once playing, the players that rush decisions. Garnacho likes to take on his men. Rashford, the same thing. Anthony's decision-making is not the best. Bruno likes to whip in the ball all the time. Mount is just non-existent. And Casemiro is not a good passer. All these guys don't complement each other. You bring in one guy that can link up the play, and we score a goal. But apparently, I'm just a fanboy.
So this is the thing, though, Staffy. What I'm going to say, though, is that it's sometimes like what you're doing is let's not act, and this is no disrespect to Sancho, but let's not act like he hasn't started many games and done nothing for us as well. The problem I have with what you're saying, everything you've said about the team tonight, I agree with large parts of it. We were poor. Garnacho may not be ready to start, but he's not going to become ready to start without starting. You need to get that balance right. But by the way, I praised Sancho right at the beginning of the video. I thought he was actually our best player tonight.
I missed the start, so I actually don't know what you said. And I'm not taking it to get you back.
Let us not come out and act like every time Sancho plays, he's our best link-up player and best attacker. Because
no, he's
for
not.
2 years... So I get where you're coming from. Like, I've seen many a game where we've looked this bad with Sancho on the pitch as well.
But he was our best man in preseason, Terry, and you saw him in this new position. He wasn't in this position until this preseason.
Hang on, let me finish. So us calling you a fanboy last year was when you were defending him for having bad games, right? Tonight, I agree. I actually think he should have started as the false nine with Rashford on. Look, Rashford, if you actually just look at Liverpool's attack, City's attack, Arsenal's attack over the last 2 to 3 years, become solid and potent because their players all generally play in the same position week in, week out. We are still with Rashford as he hits his mid-20s, chopping and changing where we play that lad. And that isn't fair. There's a handful of players through the last 20 years of football. Bale was okay at it. Ronaldo and Messi, the only two I can really think of, that whether they were playing left, right, or central, they were top class. Most players, they have one position where they are consistently good as an attacker, and that is it. And for me, that was a mistake from the manager tonight. So I definitely agree with you on that, my friend. And I actually think that I actually think you're right. I'd like to see Sancho start the next game. Thought he was very, very good when he came on. He actually looks fit and hungry. And it's interesting that he had one of the longest preseasons out of all of our players, and he had actually extra game time. Dizzy's with us as well. We'll come back to you in a minute, Staffy. You made some great points there, my friend. Do you agree with where Staffy's coming from? Do you think this midfield can never work, or is it about giving them time together to create that chemistry and relationships?
Bro, only at United can you win your first game of the season and the world feel like it's melting down, bro. What is actually going on? It makes no sense. Yes, we played dog shit. That's a fact. The midfield can't work because we have a 6 and 2 10s. Mason Mount and Fernandez can't work together. I think it's got to be one or the other. I think if it was a competition for places for one place between them, I think we have a recipe to do something. But if it's both of them on the pitch, they're both looking for the Hollywood pass. They're both looking to run in behind. They're both looking to make a killer pass, and none of them are looking to pick up the ball and carry it. So yeah, I don't think it can work really. I think like Staffy said, Sancho was our best ball carrier when he came on. I think we looked so much better with him than without him. I think he should have started anyway. I think Garnacho, whilst he was positive in the first 10, 15 minutes, he looked like he was trying to make something happen, to prove a point, to kind of emphasize that he's arrived kind of thing. And it's just not that just yet. I think he still needs to develop the calmness in his game, that like he has the erratic last minute, we need to go get a goal, let's go do it. He has that. That's calm. That's fine. But the calm, collected, let me pick up, let me pass, let me move, I don't think he's got that just yet. So I don't think he's a starter. Rashford definitely, like you said, Terry, has to be on the left. I can't be dealing with this. Let's find his best position. I just can't do it. He signed a new long-term contract. He's our best player as far as forwards go. And realistically, the best players in your team have one guaranteed position, regardless of who's fit and who's not. They play in that position. That's just what your best players do. And yeah, that's that really. I don't know. It's just a bit mad, but week 1 in it, 3 points, we move on.
Just a quote from Gary Neville when he was asked a question about Man United's midfield tonight. He says, let's be honest with you, after tonight, I want them to go out and get Caicedo and Lavia. Go and get them off Chelsea. It will cost 170 million, but it'll be worth it. And it's about finding the right combination. Listen, I've been saying for a while, people ask me where Amrabat will play. I think you put Amrabat in the... Listen, I don't care about the 65 million, 50 million pound thing. You bring Amrabat and you put him next to Casemiro. Tonight doesn't happen. The midfield doesn't get run through, and it changes things and everything else. I'm going to go through some more super chats. I want to go through with the panel. There's so many of them. I want to respect the viewers so much. It's amazing to see so many of you here. Please hit like buttons as well. For them to say it's not a penalty is outrageous. If the defender committed the same offence, it would have been considered a penalty. Outside the box is a foul. Like, Staffy, what did you make of that? Did you think it was a penalty, bro? You're on mute, G.
It's not a penalty, actually. Yeah, I forgot to talk about that. It's not a penalty. KJ said it perfectly. Both players went for the ball, and both of them miscalculated it, and no one got the ball. I get it. Yes, Onana is going in with a little bit extra. What do you say? Like he's coming in crazy at him. Like a little bit more like momentum. So he collides with him, yes, and he drops him. I get what you're saying, but to be honest, I've seen this in corners so many times where defenders go up and try to head the ball. Not everyone gets the ball. They collide. Sometimes they drop. Sometimes they don't, and it's never a penalty. It's just overemphasized the goalkeeper. If his gloves kind of touched his face, I would 100% say, yeah, this is a penalty. But he noticed at some point he's not going to get the ball. So he technically pulls out and he just goes up with his arms like this. He can't stop his momentum when he's in the air already, but there's nothing. And they said it, even Tim Howard said it. He said it's not a clear and obvious error. So that's why VAR couldn't return it. There's nothing clear about it. He didn't hit him in the face. He didn't punch him in the face. So there's nothing to give there.
All I'm saying is because it was Onana and everyone is looking for
a
the
mistake.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for Onana because he replaced De Gea and he's a ball playing goalkeeper. And there's another reason why they're looking for it, but they're looking for the mistake to say Onana did this. This is why we shouldn't have bought him. This is why De Gea should have stayed. That's what it is. If this was, I'm telling you, if De Gea had the balls to actually try that, no one's saying it's a pen on De Gea. That's what I'm saying.
To be
I
fair,
hear you.
Onana proved he can save shots just like David De Gea tonight too. Like you got to give him props on that.
Yeah, like I was going to ask you all, like, what did you, Hannah? What did you make of Onana's debut at Old Trafford under the lights?
I thought it was really impressive. Obviously, that last minute was a little bit tense. Like, I hope this isn't a penalty just for his sake. I think it was a penalty. Anyway, I'll let that one go. I thought Onana was really good. It's clearly the way that Erik ten Hag wants to play. I think looking at the Brighton and the Brentford game at the start of last season, don't really want to talk about that, but I think those two games, the first two games of last season, was where he tried to do that and it didn't work because everyone knows De Gea just was not that guy. He wasn't that goalkeeper. And I think replacing De Gea, it was a big statement. It was needed to be done. And I'm so glad that he did. I think Onana supports with the players well. He seems to have quite a good relationship with them on the pitch, which is important. Everyone used to just shout at De Gea, and it was clearly such a breakdown in communication. So it's nice to see a lot more of a team. Maybe not tonight, but I think Onana looks really promising. I think it's probably our best signing this summer. Yeah.
I'll say this though. I think our distribution might not have been De Gea's fault. I think we might have to go back and just apologize a little bit because it got to a point where Onana was trying to play with these men, and then he was like, you know what, long ball. And then the long balls weren't sticking because Rashford is not holding that.
Did you see how many times he went for long balls? In the second half, it was all long balls. I was like, this is definitely an instruction from Ten Hag because he never goes that long.
Well,
bro, I said this. Dizzy, I said that. I was like, there's no point of changing the goalkeeper when we don't change the 11 and everyone's good on the ball. We have a DM. As much as I love him, he is shit on the ball. He's not gonna improve all of a sudden at 30, 31 years old, and he's gonna become a Rodri who knows how to pass or a Partey. And I'm gonna say this on live right now because I said it in the chat and Camp thought I was crazy. If anyone from Saudi Arabia is watching this stream, please put in a bid for Casemiro because I would rather sell him for any money this summer. Before I promise you, before next summer, we're gonna be screaming for him out. I promise you. So I would rather sell him right now for some value. Saudi has the money. Send some money right now. We'll give you this
summer. No. Like I hear you. 100%. Hold on. I hear you and all. I hear what you're saying. Go get value. But the whole point of bringing in an Amrabat or somebody who can step in for him is that you still have a player like Casemiro who's a leader who, when he gets some rest in his legs, will be fine. Like, listen, he had a bad game, but that's crazy.
This is not a diss on Casemiro. This is what I want you to understand. He's not.
Staffy, I get your point. And to be fair, next summer, I swear, he's on his last year of his contract. No, so we would be starting to transition out of Casemiro anyway. So I don't think it's
so sell him now and give me money, and maybe we can go get Tchouaméni before the summer.
Listen, go get Tchouaméni. Are you nuts?
We're not going to get Tchouaméni. They're not selling him. This is the thing. I get where you're coming from, Staffy, but you're throwing baby out with the bathwater after one game.
No,
Like,
no,
I
I
don't.
promise you it's not because of the game. I would have told you that in preseason. You know why I couldn't say it in preseason? Because I would have been looked at even more crazy if I said it in preseason. I said, Cam, you
So
remember
game
I
one
said
changes
that.
it. Game one's now.
Yo, I waited for the season to start.
He's been
I just
sitting
wanted the
there.
season to start so I could say
He's
it.
been sitting there for like 3 months waiting to say it. First bad performance. He goes, oh my God, I get it on match day 1. Yeah, I think you're writing him off too quickly. This super chat says, so a keeper has eyes on the ball. He can kick players in the balls. Man United clowns.
Well, he didn't actually do that, did he? So sure.
Corey T here says, for me, it's a pen. It's a dangerous challenge. If keepers can clatter into players without winning the ball, it's going to happen all the time.
You know what's mad?
All the time.
You know what's mad? People were clattering into De Gea and nobody was saying nothing.
Wait, that goal against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Elbow to the chest.
He was too weak.
Mitchell used to have a field day with this guy every time. Every time we played Fulham, De Gea used to be on the floor.
I'll tell you when another thing that's never given as a penalty, which I think is a foul. If a player has a shot and it flies over the bar, and then the goalie takes him out afterwards, never given. So there are certain things that don't get given. I think today was a penalty, though. Yes, Sunshine, welcome back, bro. Hope you had a good summer, my G.
Yeah, big ups people, man.
Ray here says, a disappointing performance, but we take the result. That's from Ray. If Man United plays like this and goes down, you can blame De Gea. You can't blame De Gea and Maguire. This is true. Well, but if they'd have played tonight, they'd have made a mistake and would have conceded. That's what what I'll run with. Mohammed here says, if that happens outside the box, it's a foul. So it could be a pen. Commentator's words. What do you think? But there's loads of fouls like that. I'll give you an example. What game was it? But there was a little push in the back. The Liverpool-Chelsea game. There was a little push in the back of a Chelsea player. One of them in the first half. Do you remember? There was a little push in the back. No penalty given. If you push a player a little bit in the back in the middle of the park, you get fouls. There is a different threshold in the box, whether people like that or not. Thank you, Kerry Parker, for being a member. Midfield of Mount Bruno Casemiro is a joke. Donut is what D says. Guna Jules says, United fans, if you feel a bit useless tonight, just remember that Spurs got Richarlison as a main striker this season. Fair dues. Martinez will be exposed in that higher line. He is slow. Cass has no stamina as unusual. I think you might have meant usual.
Yeah.
This was a good watch as an Arsenal fan. Were you? I'll actually go to Sunshine on this. He's just joined us. Were you surprised to see Lissandro taken off at halftime?
At the time, yeah, man. At the time, I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" But I thought he was injured. Personally, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Is he injured? He picked up a knock. But then I do believe it was because of the yellow card. And I think, given the fact that yellow cards are being given out left, right, and centre, by the way, and if you're a betting person, make sure you go. I know. Is it Cam at the top? I think. And you're a betting person. Make sure you go and put a little 5-10 quid on at least 2 yellow cards in a game these days. Like, do you know what I mean? Like before the betting people start to get on it. But that aside, I do think it was down to the yellow card, Terry. If I'm being honest, and I think he was mindful. He was mindful of him getting a red card. That's my take on it personally.
Well, sorry, KJ, you said the manager's confirmed it.
Yeah, Ten Hag said it was there was a minor a tendon issue that he had, so they took him off.
Okay, injury basically.
Okay, so it is an injury.
Oh,
But we know Ten Hag's a liar as well, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we know Ten Hag is out here doing that PR. KJ Onana thought he was hugging the Hug Me Elmo doll. Really, is what Omar says to you here.
Yes, he was tall and big.
United win the league this year. This season is going to be a long, hard one for everyone else. May not play vintage football, but believe this is 20. Well, listen, Judge, if you're right, I'll take this football all season. I'll take 38 games like this if we win the league, because I won't care at the end of it. But Staffy will have a nervous breakdown. He would.
Please, no one would celebrate this league more than me. We have enough players to win it. Just
you might not make it to the end, to be honest.
Staffy, I think we found the Terraces United version of Lee Gunner in Staffy, to be honest with you. I think we might have done.
If I'm being compared to Lee Gunner, hold on. If I'm being compared to Lee Gunner, I don't know if Lee Gunner watches all your shows.
He watches a lot of them. He's a big fan.
I'll tell you, it's an honor to be compared to Lee Gunner. That's all I'm going to say.
I like that. Right. This here says masterclass from Staffy. He just cooked a lot of man, is what Prince says. The extra injury time is going to kill United. Today,
As well.
it might save us as well in the other direction. If they were winning, they'd have been sitting back. Staffy, the biggest fanboy of all time, but fair play to him, just accepting it. We still love you, is what Ruben says to you here, bro. Does it not worry you that Ten Hag watched that game and it took him 70 minutes to do something about it? He is way too slow to react. See, I'm going to say this, though, defend him. We have seen him drag a lot of people off at half-time before. We've seen him do things earlier. Again, that for me is overanalyzing and taking one example of something and creating a rule with it that doesn't exist as of right now, in my personal opinion. That midfield doesn't work. Amrabat next to Casemiro would be a game changer. That's very much what you thought, Hannah, right? In terms of bringing in Amrabat, the extra steel and power in the midfield.
Yeah, I don't think we can rely on that midfield three all season. Like many people have said, I don't think it will work. It's hard to, as a fan, I want to be positive. I want to trust the signings that Ten Hag's brought in. He was so after Mount for so long. We know that from last season. So we want to kind of trust the process, but it's hard to see right now. And I think Amrabat would be, I mean, look at Casemiro. He's getting on now. Like, we need someone to be able to back him up just as much. We can't just rely on those three. So I think the midfield signing should be the next thing. Hopefully it is. Like I say, hopefully Ten Hag's on the phone tomorrow morning. That's the first thing that he's dealing with. But the midfield today was shambolic.
Can you hypothesize why for me though? I'm just so curious because I don't understand Mount. Why?
Hypothesize what? Oh, sorry.
Can you I guess my question is, can you guess why we would want Mount? Why Ten Hag? What did he see in Mount that's like, we need him? I don't get it.
No, I agree with you. I don't get it. I don't get it either. But what I'm saying is, as a fan, you want to, especially on the first week of the season, back the manager and the signings that he's brought in. He's clearly got some kind of vision. I agree with you. I personally don't see it. I think, as Staffy said, he's a great midfielder, but not in this team. I don't think personally he suits our. I don't think so. But yeah. I know everyone's got varying opinions on that. But you do want to.
I think the main issue is.
Yeah, go on, KJ. Go on.
I think the main issue is Ten Hag wants our midfield to win 1v1 duels in the midfield when it comes to pressing, when it comes to the opposition having the ball. The issue today is if you look at all the breaks that we had, it's because Mount and Bruno and Casemiro at some point lost their 1v1 duel with their guy that they're supposed to be marking or with the guy with the ball, and they just cut us open. And for me, that's something Ten Hag needs to fix. We've been doing that since last season. When we lose our 1v1 duels, especially in the midfield, it's peak. It's over because we do some next high press. We do some next one-on-one marking, which in the long run, if you don't have the right guys that can execute that properly, it's looking long.
Do you know what though I would say about Mount tonight? We turned the ball over 11 times in and around their third of the pitch, but we messed up every single one. So for me, I kind of look at the situation and think if Mount won about 4 or 5 of them, or sort of his press kind of triggered that. If we'd have won that ball back, played the right passes and scored a couple of goals, I think the whole game would have been different. I think their heart would have gone, would have dominated more of the ball, and we'd be having a very different conversation now. So there's equally like Wolves, if they take some of their earlier chances, it's a very different conversation now. And that's sometimes the beauty of football. I'm still like with Dizzy, I'm still not convinced about Mason Mount, but I thought I saw what I wanted him to do. The problem is when we did that and we gave the ball away, then Staffy's bang on, then Casemiro is exposed. And actually, if you look at a lot of the goals we conceded in pre-season, it was all about giving the ball away in wrong areas. And a lot of people are saying we need to see a new style of play from the manager. We're putting that high lines higher. We're exposing more of our players now than we did last year. We were criticized last year for sitting too deep. So there's going to be some changes that are needed here. This super chat here says, if that was United, you man would be crying for a pen. Yeah, I would. Of course. Shameless.
What, you not think it wants a pen? I thought it was a penalty still.
No,
yeah, I thought it was a pen. They don't.
Either way, if it was a penalty, I would understand it. If it's not a penalty, which happened, I still understand it. I understand both ways.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked at either decision. Like if it was given, I wouldn't be coming here upset saying no, it shouldn't have been a penalty. I understand why it didn't.
You think it was on the fence?
What do you mean?
In terms of you think it was 50-50 either way. You didn't think it was Stonewall.
I explained it before you got on. I just think because like both of the players missed the ball, and Onana technically pulled away with his arms, and he wasn't still going for a punch. We've seen goalkeepers that come out with their fists like this and they punch someone, or they're jumping too high and their knee collides with someone. These are small
literally, if you punched him in the face, I would have said because I actually thought it was a punch.
Players collide in the air all the time.
The thing is, right? I think Terry said earlier, like when it comes to stuff that happens in the box, it's seen differently. A foul is a foul. The letter of the law is a foul is a foul. At the end of the day, if he doesn't touch that ball at all, I can't say that's a clean attempt. Whether he's punched him in the face, whether he's elbowed him in the face, whether he's made a connection with his chest. If he's
at the end of the day,
sorry, Sunshine. I think it's different when it's a keeper going for the ball.
It can't be though.
When it's a keeper going for the ball,
doesn't stipulate that in the rules.
But the thing is, we never see that call. Like it happens almost every game where you see go in and there's just a clattering of players.
But that doesn't make it right though. Doesn't make it right.
No.
Some get grandfathered.
At the end of the day, this is a contact sport. People cry about the littles of context all the time.
That was not a little contact.
No, hold on. I know. I was gonna go further. It's okay sometimes for people to make contact, especially if it's in the air. When it's in the air, someone usually gets dropped on his ass like that. So it is very normal. If he didn't jump and just Onana comes out and takes him out like that, that would have been a better case. But the man jumped. He just noticed the ball's ahead of him.
You missed my original point. If he doesn't make contact with the ball, then it's a sticky situation. This is why I can only sit there and go, if he gets the ball, then I can sit there and go, yes, someone's going to get clattered halfway, but he got the ball, so I can give him a fair challenge. Overall, if you don't get the ball and you're taking the man out clean, you can't defend that, in my opinion. Even though it doesn't get given, like Cam was saying, in this day and age, the letter of the law is you don't claim the ball, like you open yourself up. So for me, I think it was more 70-80% of a foul than anything else. Even if you pulled his hands away, I don't think it was on the fence.
I hear where you're coming from there. This is a strong thing here. It says not a penalty, bro. That is delusional bias, or the fumes in Canada are getting to your head. What the F? Oh, he doesn't claim he can. I was rubbing my eyes when you're talking.
I would just like to say we're back. We got people paying to make insults, but you know what? Thank you to my brother there who called me Canadian. Normally it's this Yank or American. I appreciate it.
We both don't know ball, Cam.
Yeah. I was also rubbing my eyes because I haven't seen Indiana's face on a stream in about 2 years. It's good to have you back, bro. I hope you're well.
They got India, man.
Casemiro out, McTominay in. Lol, that's hilarious. It was not a collision. Obama. I thought my dyslexia kicked in. Obama was late. Yeah, Obama definitely was late. Obama was late. And finally, we have a sane football fan like Stacy. Man United need better players as Man United standards. I hear you there. Thank you, Bash.
Staffy.
He meant Staffy.
Not Stacey. Stacey. I like that name for you, Stacey.
I was like, isn't her name Hannah? Now it's Stacey. I was like, I'm so confused there. What's going on?
Some United fans really compared Saka and Martinelli to Anthony and Garnacho. Stop comparing established players with those who have to prove it in the Prem. I hear you. Don't do it. Not with those two right now. It's crazy. Can we give credit to the Wolves coach? Yeah, listen. I think Bournemouth have made a mistake. I thought Bournemouth made a mistake and didn't keep him on. They were he had 4 training sessions with him and they were balling out. They were balling.
Only United could have a new manager bounce game 1 of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I guarantee if the old boy was there, I guarantee we'd have smashed him. We'd have smashed him. Basuma and Skip have better balance. No cap. Staffy, they still have hope. But we know football, this midfield won't make any longer. Mount out in November. May we, as long as we improve. Clubs need to move fast. We need 2 midfielders, a centre back and a right back. Maybe we should hope we get thumped by Spurs so we can get a panic signing. Kimmich. We're not getting Kimmich, but I hear you. I don't want to get thumped though. Why is no one mentioning our big weaknesses, our lack of physicality across the team? We look like kids next to Wolves. That's true. I was looking at that's a great point you raised there. I was thinking that during the game. They just look so much bigger than us and more physical than us. And I think that's another reason why we want Amrabat. Like, size matters. Not in all walks of life, gents. I know some of you will get panicky when I say that, but size does matter. It does at times. The motion in the ocean is important, but size counts. Indiana, long time no see, bro.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Yeah, I can hear you fine. You must. I mean, I know you're buzzing because we bought a number 9, and you can't wait to see that happen. Do you?
Yeah,
do you
and then the fucker's
Come on.
injured.
I know. Indiana's been asking for a young number 9 for 5 years, and we finally get one, and he's injured. But do you see that changing much how we play, or do you think there's bigger issues than just putting a number 9 in?
Yeah, I do a lot. One of the first things I tweeted out today was Rashford's run selection. Actually, today he's just not a natural striker, is he? He just doesn't know where to run. He doesn't occupy the right spaces. Doesn't occupy centre backs. He's not running the channels. Players don't know when to pass the ball. They either overhit it or underhit it. He can't read the game like that. He's just not his game. I'm not going to knock him for it. He's filling in. I just think Ten Hag got a lot of things wrong as well tonight, especially in the front line. I think Sancho should have started. He's our sharpest player at the moment. That should have happened. Garnacho's and Pellistri, they're too raw to start right now. And the minute it's going wrong, you've got to change it up. The midfield. I've waited years to get rid of McFred to watch that. That might be the biggest crime in football. Might be the biggest crime.
Don't even tempt me to say what I want to say about this.
You know what they always say, don't they? Like the grass is not always greener. No.
That was just fertilizer, Terry. There was nothing growing there. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, when are these players going to start clicking? None of them look fit. None of them look strong. They can't string passes together. I think everyone on this panel pretty much knows my thoughts on Mason Mount. I don't need to go into that. But he wasn't even great off the ball today. And is his debut and got hooked. I'm not buying any injuries from anyone. I'm not hearing none of that nonsense. He was just poor. It is what it is. Like there's a lot of work to do. I think people are right. A lot of people are talking about getting 2 midfielders. I think we do need to get 2 midfielders. I think it's one of the reasons why he's going to keep hold of Scott McTominay as well, if I'm honest with you right now, because there's not enough physicality in there. You need that. It's the Premier League. You need that sometimes. Forget about quality on the ball. Just being able to compete in there. There was moments of madness on that pitch today. We didn't deserve to win the game, actually. We shouldn't have won the game today. It's probably hurt us winning it long term. Yeah,
maybe, but it's one of those weird ones. It's like I felt this a few times. I didn't even celebrate. Staffy said I didn't celebrate the goal. No noise came out of my mouth. I just stood there, and part of me was even angrier because my coach always taught us sometimes you learn more through losing. I don't want to lose, but yeah, I was angry when they scored. Terry, please read. Okay, so this has come out now to end the debate. Gary O'Neill says the PGMLO, John Moss, spoke to him after the game and admitted Wolves should have had a penalty and it was a clear and obvious error. So PGMOL have already admitted it was a mistake and admitted it was a penalty. So Man United have been gifted 2 points. Gifted 2 points. And imagine if we win something or make Champions League by 2 points this season. It's coming back to this. But listen, I look at it this way. We've benefited there. I have seen Man United also punished through mistakes with VAR. We're not the only club who gets it go away, but it would be Man United that get that first time round. Anthony, worst starting right winger in United history. Well, no, we had Bebe, so we're not gonna go that far. But listen, I said I'll give him year 1. I'm gonna be a lot harsher on him this year. So some of his overhit passes tonight, he's generally he can be quite good at that, like inside pass that he plays. He overhit all of them today. He done one good thing where he got on his right foot and crossed it. It was an average cross, but it's like you can beat. The bit that annoys me about him more than anything is he has the ability and speed to beat people, but he chooses not to. And I've got a problem with that. I've got a problem with life.
I've got the same problem, and it pisses me off. Sancho was the same last season as well, by the way, and it's always a choice. They have the ability. You don't need pace to beat the man. Your feet are good enough. You let the ball do the work. They're choosing not to, but I'm expecting that to change with a striker. I mean, I need that to change with a striker. That cannot.
Indiana's been waiting so long for this striker. It has to work now.
Because this guy turns out to be shit, I'm coming for Danny, devil in the details. You know, he did. Terry, he voice noted me. He's been researching me. He goes, Indiana, you're going to love this guy. You're going to love this striker. So It's all on Danny right now. I hope he's a top
I've been researching him too. Me and Danny use the same database. It was confirmed that it was a clear and obvious error and should have been a penalty. Yeah, no, I agree completely. Looks like me, Sunshine, and Hannah got that right tonight. Staffy and KJ in the mud on that one is what I'm going to go with. No, I'm joking.
It could go either way. I technically have a leeway.
Bias in the
Listen, you get splinters in your ass. Staffy,
I said I wouldn't be surprised if it was given, so I have a leeway.
Nah, you said you're on the fence, bro. I asked you.
Yeah, I said
on the
if
fence
it was
50-50. That was not.
No, but I said if it was given, I wouldn't be mad. I would understand. KJ's in the mud. KJ can't get out of it.
Nah,
Don't you think in another game with the way VAR is has been for a while, it's so inconsistent. In another game, that would be a penalty. I feel like again that was luck. Like if you look at what happened the Spurs Brentford game, that contact that Son had was nothing like today, and that was given as a penalty. So
that was a pen though.
It's just it's just we can get into the penalty debate.
The Son one was a pen. The man got cleaned, bro.
All I'm saying is,
KJ,
everyone...
are you mental? So
even though
let Hannah finish, please. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I finished my point. All I'm saying is, everyone knows that VAR is really inconsistent. Had that been another day, another ref, another VAR panel, that would have been a penalty. And yes, it should have been, but we do have to also come back to VAR is inconsistent. As
in our defense, though, last season was abysmal for our decisions. Like the Newcastle game, the ones on Sancho, the handball early on in Europa. It was like there was so many for United where we were sitting there thinking, I think we did not get the rub of the green, even though, and I'm saying that objectively, and you guys are watching, I've just sat here and said Wolverhampton deserve a penalty. I'll say with the same energy last season, United did not get anything that they should have had. I can't say anything, but high percentage we did not get and we should have had. And I think twice they admitted that they were wrong. So it swings and roundabouts. And sadly, luckily it's us this season.
No, it certainly is. And the reason that's where everyone's entitled to their opinion, but that's why I'm not being biased and not saying it was a penalty, because I want to have the credibility to stand here when we get robbed and say we got robbed, as opposed to being called bias. If two players try to head a ball and both miss and smash heads, is that a foul? No. That's an accidental clash of heads. But if I jump for a ball and win the header, and then you crash into the side of me late and you clash heads, we've got examples. David Luiz did that to Raul Jimenez and nearly ended his career. No foul was given. So that's what I mean. What I would say about this rule is that there is clarity is needed. And that's why the TV pundits annoy me. They're referees in the studio. They don't ever ask them good questions. They never ask them good questions. Like, explain why that isn't a foul. Like, I would. They ask them dumb questions. Rivals coping and crying over Man United wins as usual, but we do love that. Look, I want to say a big thank you to everyone that has tuned in tonight. Please hit the like button before you leave. Please subscribe. Back tomorrow. Transfer updates in the morning. Lee Gunner and I live at 3:30. That's going to be a big show. I've got a feeling it's good. Sorry, brother.
I said I'm not on tomorrow.
Did I say Staffy?
You missed
Sorry. I lost it, mate. You went right over my head. Like, sorry, bruv. Yes, we're back tomorrow. Me and Lee Gunner, 3:30. Make sure like buttons are hit. You subscribe and turn on bell notifications. Good to have Indiana back on, Sunshine as well, and Dizzy that I didn't see all summer. KJ and Staffy as ever, brilliant. And Hannah, well done on your debut. I think the audience really enjoyed what you had to say as well. And we'll be certainly seeing you again. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon.